Okay, I'm just going to do a few requests from during the week that I didn't get to. This one is Fairfax FXJ, so doesn't look that crash hot, does it, visually? It's had a bit of a breach of the low down here. I'll just mark the bottom of a high volume bar right there, and we're currently banging our heads up against, we've broken it and we're banging our heads up against that bar, so that's not really what we want to see for the long side. You can connect those two pivots there, and I'll just connect that, put that onto the intervening low. It's kept that channel, it's overshot, bounced back in, but it's sort of dribbling down the bottom there, isn't it? This is the weekly chart, by the way. What else can we do? I'll just take some high volume bars and mark those off as significant areas. I'll mark the close of that high volume bar there up because that's acted as resistance before, and then we had that big up thrust and down she went, so probably marked. We can mark that off as well, I suppose. Mark the low of that bar, just mark them down. You can see where it's they've acted as resistance to price trying to go back up. We don't really have it. What we're wanting to see is some climactic, volume kick in at the low to tell us maybe they're starting to accumulate. We did get some high volume down here, or increased volume, not particularly very high, but increased volume, and it's closed off the low. The next bar wasn't particularly strong as it tried to up thrust, but it's pushed through the next bar, so there's some buying on there. The next bar, the spread is narrowed, so the selling, it's come off. Next bar's closed high as it's tested back into the body of this volume bar, these high volume, well, there's high-ish volume. What we're wanting to see is less volume now, less selling pressure as it does that, and even though it's closed high, so even though there's buying there, there's still a lot of supply of selling in there, and we want to see that selling removed if they're bullish. And they've come down, tested, demand's overcome supply in that case, that's a test, but the volume is still high. I mean, it's higher again, so there's still more supply now, but we've next bar is up thrust as it's tried to clear the high. Well, we probably can use the high of that bar. It's tried to clear the high of that bar, but it hasn't been able to. It's up thrust, and then the next bar's gone up, but on very light volume. It's not quite the lowest in 3 bars, but still very no demand-ish. So there's nothing telling us that that's going to go long. It's not particularly shortable where it is because you're very close to support there, so, and we like to see really high volume to bounce our trades off, but we don't really have a lot there. We just know we're at the bottom of a downtrend channel, so if we're thinking of going short, we'd be vulnerable to a rally. If we were going to short it, a better place to short it would be any weakness that appears at the top of this channel here. But there's certainly it's certainly looking weak still. There's nothing there to tell me this has bottomed at all. So I might just have a quick look at the daily chart and just see if we can see anything. It's just a bit of a, got the high of that bar there. That's our last bit of a shakeout there. And then it broke through there. And that's tried to, as it's come up into this area, get our up thrusting with that. 2-bar reversals, up thrust, high volume and no demand. Well, I suppose that was a little bit shortable, but you wouldn't have far to go. It wouldn't be worth it for me. But there are weak bars appearing as it tries to penetrate back up into the, I mark the close of that as well, into that area. But really I'd be looking at, we do have high volume down here. So there's some buying in the bottom there because it's pulled up and then had a bit of a bounce. So there's a bit of buying in that bar. There's a bit of buying in this bar. See, high volume down, closed high. High volume down, closed high. Bounced off, it come back, pushed into the body of the bar. There is a bit of buying in the bottom here, but you expect buying at the bottom of a trend channel, even if it's a downtrending one. But it's not particularly, it's not like that sort of volume is we're probably more interested in. Then we can have a look. What we do then is if the high volume kicks in, if it breaks below there, we can go short. We can short the up thrusts. There's not any particularly good one. There was a fairly good one. There's an up thrust and no demand. But at the moment, I would say it's just sort of trapped in a range. Well, let's have a look here. I can probably connect to another little channel there. That sort of works. And there, that might be, well, maybe we can short it if it goes, tries to forget any particularly weak bars pop up there. You can probably short it to the bottom there, but you do have a strong bar here. There's some buying, definitely some buying on this bar here. So but really it's still trending down, isn't it? It is still trending down. I mean, we can put a speculative uptrend there, perhaps. But it's not, I would be looking at the weekly. There's nothing really there obvious telling me which way to trade it, other than it's still looking weak on the weekly chart. And you are near your lows. Your lows over here. So I suppose you could say, I mean, it's starting to get on the cheap side now, isn't it? I don't know anything about too much about the fundamentals of the company, but it's yeah, there's nothing there that I can see that tells me I want to get into that stock at all, or that I want to trade it either way. It's just looking weak, but you're at all-time lows now, so I mean you can't really even short it too much, I don't think. There's better charts to trade, put it that way, I think. But it's at the moment you're still in your downtrend. You are at new lows. There's nothing to say that you've broken your downtrend as yet. You might get a rally to the other side of the channel, maybe, but that's not even telling me that either. You could just break out of that into a. If I were to break out of that, I would put. What I would do is I'd repeat that parallel down like that. And that's if there's a breakdown from there, that's what I'd be looking at. And but anyway, yeah, no, it's still looking quite weak. Okay, this is IGO, Independence Group. It's had a bit of movement, hasn't it? Let's have a look. We can pitchfork it. There we go. So that's a valid pitchfork. It's currently finding a bit of support, or trying to, on the bottom of that at the bottom of that pitchfork. We can probably try and draw some other ones. There's a, no, that doesn't tell us anything. Probably try that one, but that one's no longer valid. I would probably, we could probably do, connect the two lows there and the intervening high, and then I would parallel that down. Just like that. And we can have a look at that level too if it wants to break down further. That's its current channel, I think. Has got a longer term pitchfork there, but it's also got a broken out of its uptrend channel here and coming this way, and we can probably put another channel on this downtrend, probably connecting. I'll probably connect those two highs and that intervening low there. So it's currently in a downtrend channel, and we've got a larger one coming up around here, and we'll just have to see what sort of reaction we get to the bottom tine of this pitchfork. If we were to break down below the pitchfork and then we started up thrusting or back testing, and it's particularly weak, then you might have a bit of wiggle room for some shorts in between the depending where you were, in between your possible support lines. Let's have a look here. We've also got, just try and mark off some high volume bars as possible areas of support. We've got this one here. Oh, we've broken down below that one. We tried to support a little bit off there. And it has been a area of accumulation around there previously. That's one of the high volume areas there. So that was quite a significant break. The next really high volume bar is way down here. So I'll just mark the top of that bar, or maybe the bottom of that bar. That's a long way down there, so we don't want to look at those, do we? The last really high volume bar that kicked in was this one, where we had the shakeout. So it's possibly an attempt there to accumulate. And I'll just copy that over. And then it's broken down there through effort again on high volume. So they're shaking it out and driving it further down. And we've had a wide volume, high volume down bar. The next bar is also on high volume, but it closes slightly up after going down. So there's an attempt there to support the market at that level. So we'll just have to see if that succeeds or fails. You are in a downtrend, immediate downtrend. So there's no long entry there, and the entries you would be looking for now would possibly be short entries on the daily. Well, we'll just have a look at the daily, just have to see. On the daily chart, just zoom in, there's a last really high volume bar. Hang on, we've got one there as well. But that one there, once we broke the low, see that gapped it below that bar, so there's effort there. We don't like seeing them gap down like that. And that was the August when everything went to hell, but it was already coming down before that. It was already in a downtrend channel before that. There was some buying there that sprung it up, but it's see the volume kick in here as it pushes down further into that bar, and the subsequent result of that volume was that it broke down further. So that was selling supply in that bar. Oh. And And then when it's tried to get back up through that bar, see it's really low volume and it's up thrust, hidden up thrust. Next bar is no demand. You had a short setup there. And if you missed that one, you had another one pop up there as well. And up thrust, as it just tried to up thrust that area and rejected. So it's acting weak, gap down. We don't like them gapping down like that, especially if they close on their bum. Bit of buying coming in this bar here, because it's closed up, its low volume is high. It's pushed further down, but the volume is dried up, so selling pressures are reduced. And it's had a bit of a spring, but it's gone up on no demand again. Now there's a very low volume. It's not quite no demand, but it's closed off the high. It's come down again and tested within the body of this volume here. There's not a lot of volume there to bounce off. We really prefer to see some really high volume to have a look at for testing, and we don't really have that. And we're in a downtrend, so when we're in a downtrend, our easier trades or our better trades are our short trades, and we pay more attention to our weak bars than we do to our strong bars in a downtrend. So that's still trending down. There's nothing, even if I possibly put another channel on from that high to that high and connect the two intervening lows. So there's the intervening low. So that's probably where it's going to get to the bottom of this channel again, I think, because there's nothing there telling me that, that it's not going to go further down at the moment. And I wouldn't want to be long that stock, even though it is that. Let's go back to the weekly. I know there is levels of support there. I mean, there's got a bit of a conjunction over here, but really there's nothing there. We've had this area of accumulation in the past, which is this one between around this area here. There's a bit of volume kick in there, so if I copy that over, so I possibly may want to accumulate in that area again. We'll just have to see. So we're in that area, but we're probably going to go to the bottom pivot here, and then we'll just see if we can start breaking out of this downtrend channel. You really want to be looking at a higher low on the weekly to then start looking at and getting away from some of this downtrending action here to be considering a long entry. But anyway, that's IGO, and this is BKN, and this is probably put a pitchfork on that one. So yeah, that's been in a bit of a downtrend as well. We've got they'll probably come down to the bottom tine of that pitchfork, I would imagine. We've got a bit of a channel there. We can just take the first two highs and the intervening low. So that's what we're in at the moment. Our high volume bars, or we've got a few down here actually where they did some accumulation in the past. So we've got that one there, that's acted as resistance there. How they act as resistance later on. And we've got the other one. We've got actually probably this whole area of accumulation. See, smart money typically buy on down bars. They have to accumulate on down bars for just as a matter of logistics. If you want to accumulate vast amounts of stock, you have to accumulate them on down bars, so you don't. If you want to make money, because you don't want to mark the price up against your own buying. We've got the probably bottom of that bar as well, so it's sort of within that range, mid-range, where they've been accumulating in the past. So we'll just have to see if it gets some sort of response to that area. And then I'll probably just whack it on the low there as well. So there's a few levels of support, but below the $6 there, it looks like around the $6 mark. If we just have a look at the recent action, we had that big shakeout, high volume. We're waiting for price to clear that volume and come back and test it. It hasn't done that. It's broken the low of that volume. It's tried to move back up there and it's rejected. So it's rejecting that area, and that will act as an area of resistance now. So that's not good. You had a bit of volume come down as it pushed through to the bottom, and then it broke through. The spread's narrowed somewhat, so there's an attempt there to support, but really it's still in a downtrend, well and truly. That's BKN.